But so I guess with meditation, would you say that the mechanism as it relates to this is that by becoming more aware of feelings, by bringing them into awareness, becoming more conscious of them, they have less control over your kind of these
Yeah.
reflexive perceptions?
That is the magic formula. I think when mindfulness meditation is working, a big part of it is that you're more aware of feelings and so less enslaved by them. And this can be just a question of catching yourself in the moment. I remember when I came back from my first meditation retreat, my kids were like misbehaving, and I started to yell at them. I mean, I just felt the feeling welling up that would ordinarily lead to me yelling at them. And I just thought, I don't think I'll do that, you know, and that's an example of that. But so is, looking at a rival or enemy and just being more aware of the actual process by which your negative feelings about the person are shaping your thinking about them. Like in the body, just feeling that, oh, the first thing that shows up is the feeling. And then the negative judgment of whatever they just did, or the unflattering explanation of whatever they just did. So yeah, I think, the one of the most important products of a meditation practice is getting a little better at that. I emphasize a little better because although on retreat sometimes you can have almost magical powers in this regard, on day-to-day, once you're back in, day-to-day life, struggling to maintain, say, 40-minute practice in the morning or something, the results are not as spectacular, but I think they're worth fighting for. And, and some people have, your mileage may vary. There are people who get amazing things out of 20 minutes a morning, and there are people who manage to maintain, several sittings a day, and they say, look, it's worth it. It's made me more productive. It's made me a better person, and so on.
Yeah. It seems there's this link. I think I heard you on another podcast talk about this link, this seeming paradox or kind of irony of how it changes your relationship to control. So, in meditation, you're practicing letting go of control, but then in the situation with your kids, what you find is because you've increased awareness of what's going on, the decision-making capacity you have actually has more room to make decisions more optimally. It actually has better control over the situation, because you can see the emotion and you can decide, well, do I want to yell? Do I not want to yell? And it's kind of interesting that by surrendering control, you can actually increase your capacity to control situations.
Yeah, letting go of the notion of the CEO self, the self that really is in command and can do great things, part of that can lead to a view of your interior life that actually gives you more control, because in large part because it gives you more awareness of feelings and more discernment in whether or not you follow them.
Yeah, you also kind of make this link to this emotional stuff being the underlying. You mentioned your ADHD and also things like addiction as being kind of these emotionally charged things, which I think is really something that there needs to be more awareness around. I think that's you talk about it being kind of an impulse control issue, right?
Yeah, and those two things, ADHD and addiction, may not sound like the same thing, but they really are, because at some level, because I mean, addiction comes from like wanting to make yourself feel better that moment and knowing that alcohol will do it or heroin will do it and wanting it so much that resistance is futile. ADHD, I think, and I don't have a super bad case, but I have a very limited attention span. I'm very distractible. And when you observe it closely, you realize that the chronic distraction, the inability to focus, comes also from wanting things to feel better that moment. It's like you should be reading this thing, but you know that you actually get more pleasure out of reading smartphone reviews or watching sports I mean, YouTube is a good exercise because the YouTube algorithm is so good at tempting you. You know, just go on YouTube if you've been going a while and they have a sense of who you are, and so they present you with these videos that they hope will get you to click on them, and just observe your feelings. And you'll see that, yeah, YouTube is good at showing you a video that you just have this urge you want to click because you feel it will bring you joy, and it probably will bring you short-term pleasure. But the point I'm making is that, you know, having trouble paying attention, focusing, is a question of impulse control. And the problem is that you want that one thing that will make you feel best that moment. And meditation can help you become more aware of those impulses and not succumb to them. Although I got to say, the modern technological environment is just an addiction machine. I mean, it's just a distraction machine. And so it's challenging.
Yeah, that's a good link, I think, to why maybe people are realizing that mindfulness is so powerful in this world where attention is money, and we're being funneled into this kind of distraction machine. Mindfulness, I think, is a great remedy for that.